This year, Nintendo is celebrating the 40th anniversary of their hero mascot Mario, and as someone who's been a Mario fan ever since I was a little tiny artist nerd, I thought it would be only fitting for me to create a piece of 40th anniversary fan art. That ended up taking me way too long, but I'm still going to share it here with you. The process is also quite monotonous, so I will be pairing it alongside of some of my favorite facts and highlights from the Mario series from across the years, while sprinkling in some of the basic steps I've taken to bring this fan art to life. The initial step for this piece of art was to come up with a basic sketch. I wanted to go with something pretty simple, just Mario jumping, since that's what a Mario do, hitting a question mark block and passing through the pixelated 40 from Nintendo's official 40th art. But that just wasn't enough. Mario isn't Mario without his crew, so I made sure to add them in there too. Once the sketch was done, I brought it into Adobe Illustrator to start the vector art process. A lot of this work is done using the pen tool to trace over my sketched lines and build a solid base to work from. It might not look like much at first, but it's adding the thickness and line variation that brings it all together. The art style that I wanted to go with is one of my favorites used throughout the franchise's history that was created back in the mid-80s by the legend Yoichi Kotabe. Before working at Nintendo and creating all kinds of artwork for the Mario series, Kotabe was an animator at Toei Animation and also went on to work alongside another legend, Hayao Miyazaki, with Studio Ghibli. Only planning on working at Nintendo for a couple of years, Kotabe spent the next 21 years working with the gaming giant and created key artwork for many of the games in the mainline series, starting with Mario 3, Super Mario World, and Super Mario Land 2 for the Game Boy. His artwork spanned his years with the company and set Nintendo up with a timeless style for the Mario series that is still used in advertising and merchandise today. Since his time as a Nintendo employee, Kotabe has still gone on to be an animation supervisor on several Pokemon games and animated films. Now that all the outlines for Mario are complete, line thickness and variation can be added throughout using the width tool and adjusting stroke thicknesses. Like the process of laying down the lines initially, this is also pretty tedious, and there's subtle considerations that need to be made. It's good to zoom out every now and then and make sure your lines are looking consistent and resemble the style you're aiming for. It's also important to make sure that smaller details like the eyes get thinner lines, places where lines overlap in the front have a nice pointy taper, and lines towards the outside of the art get the most thickness. Here's some fun facts about Mario. Did you know that he was almost named Mr. Video? Miyamoto's original idea was to use Mario as a reoccurring everyman character across all sorts of games. His placeholder name was Mr. Video, but when Nintendo of America's warehouse landlord, Mario Segale, confronted them about overdue rent, the team jokingly renamed the character Mario, and it stuck. Before he was Mario, he was Jumpman. Mario's first appearance was in 1981's Donkey Kong, but in that game he was simply Jumpman, and he was a carpenter at that point, not a plumber. Speaking of his occupations, Mario has had several jobs: a carpenter, plumber, doctor, archaeologist, professional racer, golfer, tennis player, and even a referee. This guy's had more jobs than I've had. Some additional fun facts. Peach wasn't called Peach in the West until Super Mario 64. Before that, she was known outside of Japan as Princess Toadstool. Luigi was originally just a palette swap of Mario in Mario Bros. His taller, slimmer design didn't really appear until Super Mario Bros. 2. Yoshi was first envisioned during the Super Mario Bros. Days, but the NES couldn't handle the idea of Mario riding another character. He finally debuted in Super Mario World. Toad's design was based on the mushroom power-up itself. His mushroom cap was meant to visually link him to the items Mario collects. In Miyamoto's earliest sketches, Bowser was imagined as an ox-like character. Yoichi Kotabe misinterpreted this and drew him as a turtle-dragon hybrid, which became the Bowser we know today. From here on out, I will be filling in the colors for each character using the Live Paint tool, which needs a bit of setup in order to get it to work with this design. I had to do some Pathfinder adjustments in order to make sure that proper boundaries were set up for each area that needs to be colored in before I could start, but after that, coloring is a breeze. For Mario, I used the same colors taken from the Mario 3 box art, and for everyone else, I just eyeballed it. All of the shadows added are either solid black shapes with overlay or multiply filters, or gradients used to mimic the style of shadows in Kotabe's art. One thing about his approach to shadows is that they rarely touch the edge. There's usually a slight gap between the shadow and the edge of the shape it's defining. While I color in this art, I thought it would be a good time for me to reminisce about my favorite games in the Mario series. Since Mario is actually a few years younger than me, I've been playing all of his games ever since I was a little kid. I've beaten most of the mainline titles: 1, 2, 3, World, Yoshi's Island, 64, Galaxy 1 and 2, all of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, 3D World and Land Odyssey, and most recently, Wonder. You may have noticed that I skipped Sunshine, and that's because I never beat it. I hardly even played it. I know it's a major fan favorite, but I couldn't get into it. Something about the way he controls in that game is not my favorite. I also have never played any of the RPG games, paper games, Mario and Luigi, or sports games because I just have no interest in those style of games in general, even if they have Mario characters in them. I love all of the kart games, party games, and all of the Smash games, and have played every one of those, so even though there's a lot I've missed, I still feel like I'm a pretty big Mario fan. My favorite of all of the games in the Mario universe is Mario Galaxy, and I was floored to find out that the follow-up to the Super Mario movie is going to be a Galaxy movie. I am very excited about that. So now that I've got everyone colored in and shaded properly, the last step is to go through and add in some simple background elements, figure out what the heck I'm doing with the 40th lettering, as well as the background behind the lettering, which I just ended up doing something that somewhat resembled the official anniversary art, and then adding in the little motion streaks to show the path that Bowser took to get to the star power-up. And with that, it's all done. I've gone ahead and shared the working file for this in the description below if you'd like to dig in and play with it. I've also included the high-resolution final output JPEG and even a black and white outlined version made for standard printer paper in case you'd like to print it out for some coloring book style fun. If you do end up coloring this in yourself, I'd love to see the results, and if you share them with me, I'll feature them right here on the channel. I hope that you enjoyed the video and learned something new, either about the process of creating vector art or just Mario facts in general. What are some of your favorite Mario games? I'd love to know in the comments below. Also, feel free to give the video a thumbs up and a share if you know someone else who may enjoy this. Check out my other videos and subscribe if you're new to the channel, and follow me on Instagram and X, where I currently have nothing posted, but will eventually get around to filling out those spaces with artwork created here and even some of your nerdy gaming art. As always, thank you all for taking the time to watch, and I'll see you next time.
Let's go!